What is my life? I'm absolutely shook. What the freaking... That was so bizarre, but I loved it. Oh, I'm gonna be sick. This woman is freaking psycho. I hate this. Well, okay then. Holy wow. Are you ready? Because I'm not ready. I cannot believe I am filming this right now. Oh boy. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Liv if you've never been here before, and today I am so excited because today, as you can see I'm sure from this thumbnail, is going to start me on a wild journey. I know that for sure. I know my reading life and my reading taste possibly could be changing in the span of this video, and I'm a little bit terrified. But this is also something I've wanted to do for so long, especially after clearing out and like organizing my bookshelves back here. I realized how many amazing backlist books that I own, and I don't want to buy any more backlist books until I read what I have. I just want to enjoy new releases and buy new books from here on out and be excited for that, and just not feel this sense of overwhelming dread that I've missed out on so many good backlist reads. So this is the start of a brand new series on my channel where I am hopefully going to be taking down my backlist TBR. I already have so many fun, good ideas for the rest of the books sitting on my shelves. But to start us off, I thought we would start off with a bang. I just want to preface this by saying I have read one Colleen Hoover, but I honestly don't count that because I read that way back in 2018 before I was officially a reader or officially a part of the booktube community. I didn't even have a booktube at that point. My reading taste has evolved so much that I'm just kind of wiping the slate clean of any thoughts and feelings I have of Colleen Hoover, and in order to do that, I thought we could do a little taste test. I thought we would pick 3 fairly different books of hers that I'm going to be reading for this video. And of course, you guys know I had to start with Verity. This is the one I'm terrified of reading. I know it is gross. I know it is toxic. I know a lot of people have given this 1 star, a lot of people have given this 5 star, but I just want you to know I know absolutely nothing going into this. I know nothing about the content. I've heard something about team letter and team manuscript. I don't know what the heck that even means. I'm literally not even going to read the synopsis back here. I don't know. This is one of the few polarizing books that I said I would never read because of who the author is, and I know she writes toxic relationships and I don't have any interest in that. So that's gonna make this very interesting, but I'm intrigued enough to see why in the world this is blown up so much. I also am going to be reading All Your Perfects, which I've heard from multiple friends that if I'm gonna like a Colleen Hoover, it would be this one. I know the couple is already married and they're struggling with infertility, but that again is literally all I know about this book. So these two are completely polar opposites. We have something that's supposed to be romantic, a relationship that has already begun. This one I guess has romance in it, but it's considered a thriller. I know nothing about either one. I'm sitting here terrified. I also decided to pick Layla up by Colleen Hoover because I've heard, or it seems to me, that it is a middle ground of these 2 books, and I've also heard that if I'm going to like any of her books, this would also be a good option for me to try. It says love can haunt or heal, and I want to say it's about this man's wife who's dealing with mental health. But again, I'm going into it not even reading the synopsis, you guys. I'm going into all of these completely blind. I have no idea if I'm going to come out alive. I have no idea if I'm going to come out hating my life, loving my life, wanting to pick up more of her books, never wanting to read them again. You are going to experience this with me. So this is only the beginning of the series that I want to do. Like I said, I have other challenges or other prompts or other other things that I want to do to just start reading some backlist books, and these vlogs are definitely going to be a little bit different than my typical. I think most people, if you've been here for a while, are used to this aesthetic b-roll and kind of this big production, but this is going to be more of a reaction video. This is going to be an experience that's more for me than it is for you guys, because I just need to know what in the world this author is about. I don't have any words. I'm like sitting here sweating because I know that it's gonna be tough. All of that to say, welcome to a brand new series. I hope you guys enjoy this ride. I hope you guys enjoy a little bit more of like a chill, chatty vlog versus the typical b-roll and just really aesthetic. I would love to do those kind of videos seasonally, but when it's just me wanting to read, this is the series where we're just gonna hang out and chat. Okay. I honestly think I am going to start with Verity. It's the one that has me the most intrigued. It's the one that I've heard I'm either going to throw across the room or I'm going to give 5 stars. So I think we're going to start with this. I don't know if I want to work my way up to Layla, but I think I would rather read something completely opposite on the spectrum. So I think I'm going to read All Your Perfects and then Layla, if I can even make it to Layla, because let's be honest, this is totally out of my comfort zone, and I'm not gonna hate myself for an entire week or two while I get through these books. Are you ready? Because I'm not ready. Okay guys, first of all, hopefully it's not too noisy. The window is open like right next to the camera because the cat begs for it day and night. But wow, I feel like I was already having reactions and I have so much going through my head already. So many different elements from other thrillers and mysteries I've read. I'm like, it could go this direction already, or this direction, or this direction. Basically, it starts off with a bang where our main character, Lowen, I think is how you pronounce her name, she witnesses a man get hit by a car. I really don't want to get demonetized, so I'm trying to be vague, but I'm also trying to tell you like how this starts off to see if it's anything you personally would even be interested in, because I don't know what to expect from this, but it already wasn't this. This guy sees her and is confused because she's got red stuff all over her, and he pulls her into like a nearby coffee shop bathroom to help her clean up, into the male bathroom, locks the door, and ends up giving her his shirt because she has to go to a meeting. So I guess this guy is just walking around without a shirt because he also has to go to a meeting? I don't even know. But the thing that sets me off, his name is Jeremy. My dad's name is Jeremy. I already feel uncomfortable. Oh my gosh. I can only take so much of this at once, and it's only after the first chapter. I am like hoping and praying that I give this at least a 3-star. I know this has every trigger warning in the book, but there's gotta be a reason it's so popular. That's my initial thoughts. This guy, Jeremy, is sketchy. I know this is not the only time we're gonna see him, and they both were already telling each other like past traumas. I guess her grandmother or mother has cancer. The guy, Jeremy, his 8-year-old daughter passed away. So there's just like already a lot going on and a lot happening. So that's where I'm at. I just wanted to give like initial first chapter thoughts, and I'm gonna try to keep the camera rolling as long and as much as possible because I've heard there's just so much in this, so this could end up being a pretty long vlog. But yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and continue. I feel like I could knock this whole thing out in one day because I'm already so intrigued. It's already getting super dark in this video, so I apologize, but yeah, let's just keep on reading. 90 pages in. I'm right before chapter 6, and my friend Rachel said, I think last night that chapter 6 has something crazy. I've been recording myself on and off. I feel like nothing really crazy has happened. Nothing super shocking. Like, the beginning had me uncomfortable, but now I'm just addicted to the writing, and I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen because I know it gets crazy. But so far, I thought things would be crazier at this point. Like, this book is 300 pages, 320, and I'm a third of the way through already, and I'm like, okay, nothing has happened. It's definitely very straightforward sexually. Not to the point where it's made me feel uncomfortable, but it's definitely very different in comparison to like Emily Henry or Abby Jimenez, where it's very cute and sweet romantically, and this is just like very heavy-handed and straightforward. It's not making me cringe too much yet, but all I have to say is that headboard. Okay. What? I don't have any like big thoughts or feelings yet. I haven't had any explosive like emotions of anger or sadness. I just want to know what's going on with Verity because she apparently got in a car accident. I don't know if that's spoilery or not, but then Lowen is taking over for her because she can't physically write, and she has 3 more books to write, and so it's Lowen's responsibility to get to know and get inside Verity's head and just kind of be able to see like what's going on, and she's being paid to finish these books. Apparently Lowen was picked because they have very similar writing, which is interesting. I will put up a spoiler bar at the bottom if I think anything is going to be spoilery, like super spoilery. But if you haven't read this and you don't want to know a single thing about it, definitely just like click off this video. Totally understand. But I will for sure put up a spoilery thing at the bottom if I'm talking in depth. I'm gonna keep reading. It's now 10:45 p.m. and I think I have 3-ish hours left. Yeah, exactly 3 hours left of the audio. So I don't think I'm gonna be staying up till 2 a.m. to finish, but honestly, who's to say? If this gets crazy, I may end up reading this in 24 hours. Who's to tell? But anyways, it's back to the reading for me. And I've got my camera right here. Hopefully I'll be able to get some interesting type of reaction. And I know chapter 6, this next one, something might happen. It's good so far. I'm not hating it. So I guess we're starting off strong. Oh, I'm gonna be sick. No, not a good idea. Not a good idea. I just laughed out loud because the fact that they named crew because they did it in a canoe. I'm dead. Oh no. No. This woman is freaking psycho. I'm angry now. Why? You're so stupid. I hate this. Oh no, no! What? Of course. Oh my god. Well, okay then. Wow. Wow. Well, we did that. I have never had a book that has made me so angry, gasp out loud. I mean, you guys saw, I feel like the progression of the feelings of like, okay, there's not much happening, to like, I hate this book, until the end where I was just like completely sucked in. Or like I didn't even have a reaction because my eyeballs were just so visibly reading so quickly to see what the heck was going to happen. There was so many things. We are probably about to get into some spoilers because I think I'm just gonna have a lot of emotions bubbling over, and I will just tell you right now, I am not going to rate this. I can't rate it. Don't ask me to give you a star rating because I, in good conscience, will never recommend this book to anyone. I will let people I know pick it up and warn them, but I would never prompt anyone I know to pick this up. Let's just get into it here. First of all, I did not realize this was going to be mainly about children. For some reason, I had the idea that this was going to be more paranormal. Like maybe it's just the cover, which by the way, this cover is supposed to have some sort of hidden meaning or a meaning, but to me, it just shows like the twins in the book. I don't know what this cover means, so if you guys know if there's like a secret, weird, hidden meaning, like is it the parallel between the manuscript and the letter? I thought it was supposed to mean something, but now I don't know. This was just too much. I want to know what is going through Colleen Hoover's mind when she wrote this. I'm looking here in the acknowledgements because my friend Rachel told me that apparently she tells her husband never to read this book. I am not seeing that, but I can definitely see why. There's so many disturbing elements about her trying to hurt her children that made me so angry and so uncomfortable. The woman is a psycho. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of inner monologue in this book about that. And that was really hard and tough to read. It was something I was not expecting. I knew there were triggers, but there's also another big trigger in here for me, which is the cheating trope. I hate that trope, and that immediately like made me want to bring this down a whole like star rating, if not 2, because I just don't think there's any excuse for that. And you can tell it's going in that direction. Like obviously I saw it coming, but when it happened, I was just like, okay, here we go. The whole time I was reading this, I'm like, how does the husband Jeremy not know that this manuscript exists? And then you get to the end and you're like, okay, my thinking was correct. And like, this is so all over the place because my emotions and feelings are all over the place. I'm just like sitting here processing because I literally finished it less than 5 minutes ago. But my first thought was, yes, Colleen Hoover was brilliant with the way she did this and manipulated you into believing what you were reading was true. But it doesn't negate the fact that the first half of this book was just so utterly disturbing. And I really think her writing is addicting. It's easy to read, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is just a weird book of hers to start out with. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to call like one of her books one of my favorites of all time, but I'm willing to see if that will change. Because I think I'm going to pick up Layla next. Instead of jumping straight into All Your Perfects, I think I am going to jump into Layla because I think that's a good mix of thriller and romance, and All Your Perfects is basically romance. But like, I don't have any more thoughts and feelings. Like, I feel like you guys just watched my reaction to this whole thing, which said it all. Oh my word, the roller coaster. The roller coaster. I get it now. I will say the first half of this book, or the first 3/4, I just didn't really understand why everybody was like, oh, it's so crazy. But I honestly think Karen Slaughter writes way more disturbing books because I read Pretty Girls and that honestly disturbed me a little bit more than this one. I just can't believe this is out there in the world. I'm like ashamed to say I read this, but like I had to. I had to know. Because if there's a book out there with such polarizing opposite reviews, like I have to know. It's kind of the the same with Behind Her Eyes. Like, I had to read that because I had to know where I fell. How can I commend and like something like this? I am going to let this sink in a little bit more, and I think we're just gonna dive straight into Layla because her writing is so addicting. I feel like I could finish Layla today. So we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna take a break, breathe in deep, and then I guess we'll just start straight into Layla. Hello friends, and welcome back to what I am now calling the Coho Chaos, because this book has me in a freaking chokehold. I don't know what happened with Verity. I was like this, but this book, we are like, it's good. I don't know if this makes me a Colleen Hoover fan now. Depending on how this ends, I feel like it could be possibly one of my favorite books I've read so far this year. I just haven't read a thriller this captivating in a while, and yes, it is somewhat paranormal. I don't think that's a spoiler because it talks about the supernatural in the beginning, and even the dedication talks about like haunting. I was a little concerned in the beginning because it's a little raunchy, okay? Our two main characters have a one-night stand, but basically they are inseparable at the hip because of that. But something freaking crazy happens because Leeds, the main male character, is a musician, and so he's like a celebrity, kind of famous, and something nuts happens that I was not expecting. So I don't know where the heck this is gonna go, but this is just like a whole nother level of addicting. She puts crack in her writing. Like, I actually got the creeps reading this last night. I am now on page 102 of 287, so I'm definitely going to be flying through this. Again, the romance, not my taste. I love the cutesy type of like feel-good romance, and this is just like very straightforward, like with the sexy scenes, and that's just not really my taste. I could care less about any of that, but of course, because she's a romance author, I feel like she has to throw that in there. But I feel like if she wrote more books like this, I would be inclined to pick it up. Like, I am a little bit nervous about All Your Perfects because it is romance. As for the bonus chapter of Verity, I completely forgot until my friend Rachel said something that there's a bonus chapter in Verity. And I was like, okay, but is this going to give me clarity on the ending? Because the ending is definitely open-ended, which I really love, and I think that's why I kind of lean more towards liking Verity than disliking it. We don't necessarily get anything resolved. I don't think you have to read it, but I actually did enjoy that. It was disturbing and very concerning, but I will not say anything else because of spoilers, but I thought it was a solid bonus chapter. Like, I didn't hate it. I just feel like you can't trust anyone in that story. You just have like this, I don't know, unsettling feeling the whole time you're reading it, and I still had that feeling reading the bonus chapter, but something else happened that was terrible. So yeah, in case you were wondering or you were going to ask, I did end up reading the bonus chapter, and it didn't disappoint, but it also was not needed. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to update you guys on, but I can't really say much about this. There are creepy parts of this that I was not expecting. There's a specific element or a specific, I guess you could call, trope that has shown up in this, and it's making me love it even more because this is my taste in thrillers. So here's to hoping that I love the rest of this, because if it keeps going the way it is, I feel like it could end up being 5 stars. Hello everyone, I am back with an update. And I don't even know what to say right now because I finished this. It may be my favorite book I've read so far this year. I cannot believe I'm saying that. I think that if Colleen Hoover wrote more thrillers, she could take off big time. How can someone write a romance book but also write this? This was so twisted and so bizarre, but this is my kind of thriller. I can see why it's not for everyone. This is an unforgettable book. I will never forget my reading experience while reading this. This book was freaking scary. and I did not think it was gonna be quite that crazy. Like, what is happening? What is my life? I wish I had had the camera rolling while reading this one, but I had no idea it was gonna be this crazy. All I have to say is I have not had this kind of reaction since I read Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. Like, I don't read a ton of mystery thrillers in comparison to a lot of other people, but those two absolutely had me shook. They are endings I will never forget, and this is a book that I will never forget. It now sits in that category. I'm absolutely shook. So now we are going to go into a little bit of a spoiler discussion. So the first part that had me shook, okay, the fact that Sable, which is Lee's ex-girlfriend, came and shot Layla because she was jealous. The biggest plot twist to me is that Leeds ended up shooting Sable. Like, what? She made this so believable. Because when you think about it and you sit here about the logic of, okay, they died at the same exact time, so their souls got mixed up with their bodies. So Sable's soul was in Layla's body, and then Layla was actually Willow, which is the house ghost. What? Now the funny thing is, when Willow was first brought into the picture, I was thinking, what other female has been mentioned in this book besides Layla? And the first thing I thought was Sable. I was like, what if Sable is Willow? So I came to that conclusion, and I was like, oh, I've got this figured out, okay? Whatever. But no, Willow was Layla. Like, she made you think you had it all figured out. And what shook me is the guy that came to try and help figure out the whole spirit thing, the interview part of this, was actually another spirit. And I love how that kind of ended openly, where he drives off and he said he was using the body of this like mechanic. And I'm like, what? That was so bizarre, but I loved it. And then I wasn't even thinking about the fact that Willow would go into Leeds' body to show Layla that Willow was real? What the freaking... And then I'm like thinking, okay, well, the only way you can get rid of this lost soul that is now Layla is by her dying. Like, there's no other way. So I knew that was coming, but I forgot the fact that Aspen, which is Layla's sister, is a nurse. So she could resuscitate her, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Like, the drowning part was so hard to read, but I knew that there had to be some hope at the end that these two would end up together. It just teaches you so much about, like, your person or your partner can go through such a deep, dark time in their life, but you can learn to love both versions of them. Is kind of like what I got from it. And it was just so good. It's so good. And now I don't even know how I'm going to move on to All Your Perfects. Like, I don't feel like I should have read this before this because I feel like I'm losing steam. Like, I'm on such a high. Now I'm like, how am I gonna come down from this? I know the big topic in this book, and I'm a little bit nervous going into this, but I am gonna push through. I am gonna read it. I did buy the book. We are gonna continue this vlog, but all I have to say is, if you have not read this, you should read it. It's gotta be in my top 3 favorite this year. I have not had anything shock me this much. This feels like my favorite thriller of all time now. We are going to get into our final Coho book for this reading vlog. This has been so much fun. As far as I know, these two are married, and I think they're just trying to learn how to love each other after discovering they're two imperfect people and trying to decide if their marriage can last a lifetime. I kind of hope I cry. I think this is like her most emotional book besides It Ends With Us. I could be wrong. Here we go. I will be back soon with an update. All right, my friends, I am back with a final update because, as predicted, I was not loving this one. I'm so sad because I feel like a complete failure for not completing all the Colleen Hoover books that were on my TBR for this video. As predicted, I had this feeling I was not going to be super into her romance books. I love cutesy books like like Sarah Adams, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, where there's more of a plot and a storyline, and not that there wasn't that in this book, but it was putting me in a very strange, weird mental place, and the topic in this book is not anything that I personally have gone through, and because of that, I feel like it was just putting a lot of self-doubt into my mind, where it was just putting me in a weird mental funk, and I just don't think I can push through. I honestly didn't care enough about the characters either. I wasn't really given a reason to be invested in them. I think I mentioned this before with Verity, but her steamy scenes are very straightforward, and I was listening to this on just audio and I was just cringing a lot. So I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to put myself in a reading slump, but I still feel like this reading vlog was a success because I had a little taste test of this and I read 2 of her thrillers, which were, I feel like, really good outcomes for me. This one I feel like I definitely loved more than Verity, but needless to say, if Colleen Hoover wrote more thrillers like this, I feel like she would be a new favorite author for me. But because she writes so much like toxic romance and just romance that isn't really my cup of tea, I don't think I can call her like a new favorite author. Colleen Hoover, if you ever see this video, please write more books like this because holy wow. If you do ever decide to pick this up, I really hope it's a book that works for you, but unfortunately it just wasn't working for me, and I'm not gonna sit here and bash this book because I don't want to bash all the Colleen Hoover fans out there, because like I said, I gave these 2 possibly maybe 5 stars. I don't know. I'm still like sitting on it and feeling things out, but I definitely don't want to slam anyone that likes Colleen Hoover because I can proudly say I get it now. I mean, I get it, but I don't with the romance. Overall, I feel like this was pretty successful. It was so much fun to just sit back and do like a basic reading vlog. It was very freeing. It was just so much fun to read some hyped books. And now I'm in the know and I understand now. So hopefully this is the first of many videos that I'm going to have like this. It's been so much fun watching my reactions as I've edited this because I didn't even know I caught so many different reactions. So hopefully this was entertaining, and definitely tread lightly though if you do decide to read any of her books, especially this one. The trigger warnings on Storygraph are like a mile long for this one. Let me know in the comments before you guys leave if there is another author or a book or a series that you would love to see me read, especially if it's polarizing. I think it just makes it so much more fun because I love to see where I fall on the spectrum. So before you leave, if you have a book suggestion, please leave it down below. I have a list running already and I'm excited to jump into the next video in this series. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting my channel and I will see you in my next bookish video.